Welcome back to PCM Yeti episode 126. Here we are, it's the real deal. Coming off a brilliant victory in Strada Bianchi, the closest thing to a monument, while not being one. We're here at the monuments. We have yet to win any. If you ask me, I would swap Strada Bianchi for Milano-Sanremo in an instant, as it's a much more iconic race. But this one's been around a lot longer and has the label, and labels are labels. People like to use them. So let's see what we can do with a real monument now. Milano-Sanremo is the one and only that really comes down to the sprinters. It's their day, but there's climbs on the way. So it makes it challenging, but in theory, it should be a sprint at the finish. So, what have I done? Well, I prepared for the race, and that's going to be the theme throughout all or most of the monuments that we'll see. I think there was one that's a little harsh on the calendar, a little poorly timed and difficult to set up the team for without really hurting other parts of the calendar. But for 4, it's pretty manageable, including Milano-Sanremo. So we've got a couple guys on fitness peaks, we have a lot of objectives, and we have a plus 18 on the expected race day condition. A couple guys drew lower by 1 or 2 points, and a few guys drew higher than they're expected. No one had an expected plus 5. There was an expected plus 4, there was an expected plus 3, there was an expected plus 2 that have resulted in a plus 2 draw net as a team, and 3 riders, 3 sprinters. Vasilevsky, Hersim, Shaw, all on a plus 5, giving us a real shot today. The other big consideration giving us a real shot, the breakaway, not going to be a threat today. It's one rider. He's got an 8.5 minute advantage. It's still going out, but it's one rider. We got 220k. That one rider is not going to last on his own. We can give him damn near half an hour. We'll chase him down. But the second consideration, the update. The last patch to this game changed the AI behavior regarding leadouts, regarding pathing to the finish, and the sprint itself. Some aspects were made more difficult, other aspects were turned down a notch. And on balance, at least for myself as a player, I've found sprints have suddenly become capable when they weren't. For a very, very long time there, it was real hard to get any sort of result out of a sprint. But since that patch came out, we've won a lot. And almost all of them came in a profile a bit like this one. Challenges along the way that toughened things up for riders, softened up those sprinters a little bit. I protect mine better, and that has been where I've generally carried that advantage and been able to finish off the sprints, been able to win the Strada Bianchi. In that one, right? The cobbles were where the others pushed too hard, burnt themselves out a little bit too early, and just before they crested, they were toast. We saved, we dropped, we conserved just enough, and then sprinted near the top. And then as we crested, that sprint continued to allow us to not only get past and ahead, but to get separation. I think technically we won by like 7 or 10 seconds. So we had a 1-2 finish and separation in the end on that one. What can we do today, though, in our first proper monument? Well, let's get through the climb first and see how we're doing. The gap's already starting to come back down. It's down to 7 minutes. I'm only riding a 75, and I think we're going to do just fine with that. Seems like pacing-wise, it's 168k to go. We shall be fine. Let's speed it up until the base of the climb anyway. We're already into false flat kind of territory, 1 to 2% gradient for the most part here and there. And now we get into the climb. Biggest climb of the day, 11.8 kilometers, but just 3.3%, and so far from the finish. And being that it is a sprinter's type race, and the teams bring those sprinters to it. There's no climbers out here trying to make life difficult to split the field up. There's so much time after this climb for them to be able to get back on track that we're riding pretty smooth here. Most of the guys are actually still in conserve energy phase, even though we are climbing a little steeper through this sector, and the heart rate goes up a little bit, but we're still looking at mid 140s or low 150s for these guys. I think a couple of riders topped out into the 160s briefly, using a tiny amount of energy, but we will be at full strength. No reason to fret or worry about things. The biggest worry right now is that we've got another 20k to go until we need to get water again. But otherwise, we're going to be cruising on our way towards the final 2 climbs of the day, where the race will actually finally get interesting. Hence, Milano-Sanremo is a boring race. Ooh, there's more kilometers. Yeah, it's tiring. Okay. These are peak athletes. More kilometers does not mean what it used to mean. And in fact, more kilometers now is still not what more kilometers were back in the day, right? The earliest Tour de France's were all in one and many thousands of kilometers. You go and you go and you go. You ride. It was entirely an endurance race more than anything else. 116k. Let's get that water taken care of. Christopher Young on the job for today. He's got some good top speed. 77 already. He is making his way up. He is leveling up. This was the first and only scouted prospect that we have signed the entire time. That's how bad our scouts were, but that was also how bad our pool was. He's a 5.5 star prospect. I think he's already up to 3.5, maybe 4 stars now, especially with that top speed. He's got the stamina and resistance, but nothing else to go with it. Hills is up to a 69, flats a 70. He's making some progress, but he's very, very much a top speed kind of guy. But we've gone under 100k now. 320 the gap. It's coming down pretty quick, and again with only a single rider. Absolutely not threatening. Right now, the more threatening thing is if we get too close to him too fast, and 3, 4, 5, 10 guys try to go clear. Now, if it's 2, 3, 4 guys, you would think that the pressure, the chase, would definitely pull them back. But say 8 to 10 get away, they'd have enough pulling power that, they might be able to hold off the field if they can open a little bit of a gap. Still could get interesting on that part. It's almost too weak having just a single rider. Next climb, 5.5k, 2%. So tough. So tough. Don't know if the legs can endure. Oh, we crested. We endured. Nice view, though. Love the view. 60k, one last time to get water. Young on the task. Short little climb here during the descent, but the race is going to ramp up here fairly soon. Let's finish the water task as we go through that big old tunnel. And that is us ready to take the helm. 46k. Slow it down just a little bit, and let's also put our foot down. For one, that guy's already been caught, so we're in that danger zone of somebody wanting to attack. But Movistar is in control for now and keeping a pretty high tempo, but because of the general descent nature of the pathing right now, it's still not hurting the heart rate. Fairly high speed though, so kind of hard to break away. This is all just setting up a likely sprint. The one thing that's going to mess that up and change it up and maybe, just maybe, 1 in a billion give somebody else a chance, well, it's the 2 climbs to come. So we're at an 80 now, 30k. We don't want to drift very far on this first climb. If there's a split, you're toast. But we also don't want to expend too much energy because it is a sprinter's day after all, and they don't handle climbs very well. So upping the effort to a 90, and let's slow it down for the climb. 27k to go. It's the Suppressa, 4.5k, 4.5%. And the pace not so bad right now. We're holding just fine. That red bar will come back during the descent. It's that yellow bar that's not going to get a chance to recover, so you don't want to spend too much. For now, the pacing's not bad at all, so let's back off and try to conserve a little bit if possible. Like I said, we can afford to drift some here. And let's go ahead and back off just a little bit more as we near the crest point. And a little bit more. Save that energy down to a 75. 75, yeah. Just losing a couple bike lengths here. Now, saving that little bit of energy, setting us up for that finish. Okay, start to ramp it back up now. Alright, got a nice front position. We will get a little bit of recovery, but it's just very little. Like I said, red bar is going to go right back up. Young is the only one who's not maxed out on red bar, and he is now. And despite the length of the day, the sheer number of kilometers we have covered, it's been an easy ride. Like, we still have plenty of energy, and these guys are still almost maxing. I mean, Young, Salah is about the only guys that are not. 18k to go. 18k to go, 17k to go. We're gonna, we've got an almost full strength squad. The domestiques are mostly recovered and the others are. We want to set up a train early on this one. Thinking maybe 14k out.
The finish line is getting close.
You need a little extra for the final climb, right? Just a little bit more. Now's a good time. Alright, so reluctantly I'm choosing Shaw over Vasilevsky for the combination. He's got a little more stamina. They both have +5s today. He's got a little more stamina, plus a couple. He's -1 on top speed, but he's got a lot more acceleration, quite a bit more, +3. Flat rating, very similar for the pair, but the punchiness and climbing of Shaw naturally is a little bit better. And today, actually, you know, Vasilevsky is a hair better on the climbing. He's going to keep up a little bit better. Okay, we'll take the top speed. I'm going to swap him, after all. We've had a bad track record with Shaw anyway. Harasim will serve as lead out, and he's got the punchiness. Jouet is who we're planning on using through the upper portion of the climb when we need to put our foot down. So Young and Salah will get us to the base. Zayats should get us about halfway up. We've got to be careful. We'll need a little bit of red bar, but we very much want a nice front position on this one. Let's gel up for Young and for Salah. Let's get them moving. I don't necessarily want a 99, but we've got to get up front quickly. So Young will at least accelerate hard, and then we'll back off slightly when he gets some clean air. As here goes a few riders trying to do something wild. Vandenberg. There we go. Now he's getting into that open space, so back off to a 95. Okay, we've closed down 2 of the 3 who's still off the front. Fredheim, now Vandenberg again, but Young, we're already getting close to the base, so up to a 97. Not hurting those behind. Zayat's ready. Okay, 99. Here we go. We've got to watch the red bar consumption. Young's not hurting us, but Salah might get into a point where he starts to. And so now we're out front and in control. 8.6k. Salah going fast, keeping us nice and organized right at the front. We're already halfway up the climb. Up to a 96. Okay, on to Zayats to a 97. Gel again, 7k left. Zayat's going pretty quick, but we've held this nice front position, and we've recovered to the front once again. So quick check-in. Everybody's behind us. Everybody's behind us. We are about to crest. The climbing portion's done. We're about to drop under 3 and then crest over here very soon. And we're just now getting on to Jouet. But Jouet is punchier. He's going to hurt Harasim, Shaw, Vasilevsky, and their red bars are hurting a little bit. So we got to be careful for the next little bit. Descending, Jouet, 78. Better than Harasim, or Shaw, or Vasilevsky. So it's kind of a good thing that we are almost cresting, and Jouet is just now taken over because it looks like the descent could be a handover to him. But we have 6k, and a lot of it's going to be descending. So let's get those 2 gelled up. Let's see who's around us that is a threat. Basega, not worried. Milan's a huge threat. He's an 84 sprinter, and he is well positioned but he's not being let out. So hopefully he will not have the red bar to compete. Van Aert is always a threat, but not the rider he once was. In fact, now, in game, we're talking about a 70 mountain. And only a 72 acceleration. Very much not the rider that we know and love. Lund Anderson, 81 for his sprint, but not very punchy. Could definitely suffer. But these guys are probably following other guys. And yeah. Biggest threat, obviously, is Milan. But we are very, very well positioned here. And we're going to get on to Jouet. And I don't know what sort of pace we're going to be able to handle. These guys just push on, get the best finish they can, try to score some points. Alrighty, Jouet. Here we go. Watch the red bar. Watch the red bar. Okay, now cresting. Sprinting, 5K out.
We're into the last 5 kilometers, and off he goes. He's giving it one last go.
Harasim, Jouet, Shaw. 3.8, 3.6. Science is still right there in the mix, but we don't want to get him back in the line because we're down to 2.6 as Jouet begins his sprint. Shaw and Vasilevsky lost some ground here. Okay, so checking in. We're at 1.7. Harasim almost has a better shot right now because Shaw and Vasilevsky lost some ground on the descent because they aren't very good descenders. So now they're playing catch up, and as we get to 1.8K, they're kind of spent. I'm a little nervous about their capability. And here is Milan with a teammate. He does have a lead out. Lund Anderson also has that top speed. They're both going to be a real problem. And Del Grosso is well positioned. There's your top 3 contenders. Or Lamperty. Or Aginotti. There's a lot of guys that are well positioned. But how spent are they? How spent are they to have gotten where they are versus Jouet? 1.7. Can these 3 guys go 1.7? I don't think they necessarily can. I think I want to get up to about here until I start Harasim. Okay. We lost half a bike length. But we'll see if the 150 meters or so will make a difference. Harasim leads out Shaw and Vasilevsky. And there we go. Now, Harasim has pulled ahead as we get down to 800 meters. Shaw's still right there. Vasilevsky's still right there. But here comes Milan. The big thing is, does he have the energy? Does he have the red bar to make the finish line? Or will the little bit left in the tank for these guys? Damn, I could have almost had a second sprint train with those guys, but in their case, just sprint it out. 800 meters, they're not going to make it all the way to the finish. But can they get ahead of Milan? Can they at least get a podium? Harasim, pull across to the right. Vasilevsky didn't even keep up with Shaw. Shaw's got too much top speed. But look where he is. And look who he pulled ahead of. Will he have enough top speed without red bar to hold off Milan's top speed without red bar? He's slowed. So, raw pace, Milan, 84. Shaw, 82. That would be enough to hold him off, except it's not. It's plus 4.2. It's an 88.2. Even without race day condition. That's a lot more than 82. 1 bike length to go at just under 500 meters. Vasilevsky, just go ahead and sprint it out. Harasim, what's his top speed? It's not the same. It's only a 77. Shaw will pull ahead of Harasim. But can he hold off Milan? And will anybody else behind us have the red bar to finish this thing off? Or will Shaw take the victory? Let's go! Monument in the books. Aiden Shaw has won! Harasim takes second. Milan gets third. Vasilevsky goes fifth. Jouet gets 15th. It's a lot of points for the team. By the way, being that this is only our second race day on the entire calendar for the year, you would think that the team is actually kind of struggling in the team rankings. Entering today, we were second in the team rankings, right? Well, actually, a spot ahead of where we were last season, where we still skipped a lot of races, but we raced much more often, and we almost always outperform the AI when it comes to the quick simulations. But of course, we noted during the Tour Down Under that the team is performing better this year on paper comparatively, as we do have some better riders. That is showing. And we're also getting some results in the, 2 days. We've had 1-2 finishes in 2 races. Let's go 2. That was my number, by the way, growing up. It's my soccer number as well. Next monument up for us, the Ronde van Vlaanderen, aka Tour of Flanders, will be coming up in just a little over 1 week's time. We will bypass those other races. But in the meantime, a quick check-in. The points for the victory we've just claimed will not have come through yet. Our 1-2 finish in particular will really pick up. We get 800 for the win. We're going to get 640 for that second place. We also had other riders well placed, a third one in the top 10 and a fourth one around 15th. So very strong result, lots of points. Something in the neighborhood of about 1,500 will be added to our total. But in this early season, UAE has dominated. No surprise, they are very deep, and they have the world's best rider in Pogačar. For the moment, Vacek, we've not done anything with as of yet. He is still second, but his points total, it's a running total over the last 12 months, calendar-wise, is slipping away a little bit comparatively to where he was at the end of the season. But the team's having plenty of success, and we're about to be at about 4K in points here as we continue to build towards that next race, towards the Ronde. So far, so good. 2 for 2 on the season thus far. We have a monument now to our name, and certainly one of the harder monuments for the build that our team has had. Sprint is not our strongest area, but we've certainly gotten better with it. We've had some raw pace, but we haven't been able to get those guys to complement that raw pace with some more well-roundedness, but a +5. Absolutely gave them that on this occasion, and a good team approach there. Good lead out. 2 for 2. 4 monuments left to go, and of course 3 Grand Tours on this calendar year. And then of course we're curious about what sort of signings we can make for next year, because now that we are ingrained in World Tour and suddenly ranked very high amongst World Tour, dossier costs and interest will flip. Dossier cost will go down a lot, and interest will be up a lot. We're going to be able to go after most any rider available out there, bar that handful of nations that we are going to try to snowball during the tour. We win a monument, absolutely nothing happens these days except for, hey, success! Because 5 Tour de France nations are all that remain. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.